Rediscover your past by digitizing your family's memories with LEGACYBOX. Watch until the end of this video to find out more about preserving your legacy, and then visit legacybox.com/recollection. 1950, the year that began the golden age of America, a time when the country felt full of promise and families began to grow, pushing the population over 150 million. The new suburbs were popping up, and for many Americans, life felt simpler and more optimistic than it had in years. These are the events of the year 1950. On January 17th, one of the most daring heists in American history unfolded when 11 men pulled off the Great Brinks robbery in Boston. In just minutes, they stole over $2 million from an armored car facility, leaving behind very few clues and baffling investigators for years. President Harry Truman made a public announcement on January 31st in support for developing the hydrogen bomb. This marked a major escalation in the Cold War, signaling that the United States was moving toward even more powerful nuclear weapons. An era came to an end on February 1st, when Curly Lambeau stepped down after 31 seasons with the Green Bay Packers. As the team's founder, coach, and a player, he helped shape the early identity of the NFL. On February 9th, Senator Joe McCarthy claimed that more than 200 communists were working inside the U.S. State Department. His statement intensified fears of communist infiltration and helped launch the Red Scare. On February 13th, a U.S. Air Force bomber carrying an atomic weapon was lost off the coast of Canada. This became the very first recorded Broken Arrow nuclear incident. Walt Disney released Cinderella on February 15th. This film would help rescue the studio financially and become one of its most beloved animated classics of all time. On February 16th, television history was made with the debut of What's My Line? The show featured celebrity panelists trying to guess contestants' occupations, and it became one of TV's longest-running hits. March 6th introduced us to a strange new toy called Silly Putty. Originally discovered by accident, it quickly became a nationwide sensation thanks to its ability to bounce, stretch, and even lift ink from newspapers. On March 14th, the FBI launched its first 10 Most Wanted Fugitives list. This new program was designed to enlist the public's help in capturing dangerous criminals across the country. L. Ron Hubbard published Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, on May 9th. The book quickly gained attention, presenting controversial ideas about the human mind and forming the foundation of what would later become Scientology. On May 13th, a major financial shift began when Diners Club introduced the very first charge card. For the first time, people could pay for things using something other than cash. On June 25th, the Korean War officially began when North Korea forces invaded South Korea. Within days, the United States was drawn into a rapidly escalating conflict. On August 10th, the film Sunset Boulevard premiered in New York City. The film offered a dark, haunting look at Hollywood fame and remains one of the most acclaimed movies ever made. ABC began airing Saturday morning children's shows on August 19th. The show's Animal Clinic and Acrobat Ranch helped establish the idea of weekend TV programming, specifically for kids. On August 22nd, Althea Gibson broke barriers by becoming the first black competitor in a U.S. national tennis championship, paving the way for future generations in professional tennis. On September 4th, the comic strip Beetle Bailey debuted in newspapers. It followed the lazy but lovable Private Beetle Bailey and became a long-running part of American pop culture. The Hank McCune Show introduced a new television technique on September 9th. That's when the first laugh track was used, becoming a standard feature in sitcoms for decades to come. Cartoonist Charles Schulz published the very first Peanuts strip on October 2nd. It introduced the world to Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and a cast of characters that would become cultural icons. On October 12th, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show premiered on CBS. The show brought classic vaudeville-style comedy into American living rooms. On October 31st, Earl Lloyd made history as the first African American to play in an NBA game, breaking an important racial barrier in professional basketball. An assassination attempt on President Harry Truman took place on November 1st. The attack occurred while the president was staying at Blair House, while the White House was under renovation. Two Puerto Rican nationalists attacked and shot a White House police officer before they themselves were shot by security, preventing the assassination. On November 8th, during the Korean War, American F-80 pilots engaged in the first jet-to-jet dogfight in history with a pair of North Korean MiG-15s. This marked a new era of aerial warfare. On November 22nd, Shirley Temple, the #1 box office draw in the late 1930s, announced her retirement from Hollywood at just 22 years old. This ended one of the most famous child acting careers in history. November 24th was the start of the Great Appalachian Storm. It brought devastating snow, freezing temperatures, and widespread destruction across the northeastern United States, killing more than 300 people. On November 30th, President Truman warned that the United States might use atomic weapons in response to the escalating tensions in the Korean War. And finally, on December 13th, a young actor named James Dean appeared in a Pepsi commercial. It was a small role at the time, but it became the start of a career that would later define a generation. Recollection Road and LEGACYBOX both believe it's important to preserve the past. If you're like me, there's a box of your family's treasured home movies and photos tucked away somewhere, and LEGACYBOX can help you preserve them digitally. The process is a simple and safe solution for converting your home movies and photos to thumb drive or to the cloud. Just send in your LEGACYBOX filled with old VHS and camcorder tapes, film reels, and pictures, and get back digital copies that can be easily enjoyed, shared, and kept organized. It's that easy. LEGACYBOX is trusted by over 1 million people, and it's all done right here in the USA. Get started preserving your past today. Go to legacybox.com/recollection to get an incredible 55% off. Buy today to take advantage of this exclusive offer and send in your memories when you're ready. Go to legacybox.com/recollection to save 55% while supplies last. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of this video for links to pick up a t-shirt. Thank you to our loyal Patreon supporters listed here. Visit patreon.com/recollectionroad to join the club.